2024 is the year of the fighting game.
Genre mainstays like Street Fighter 6 and Mortal Kombat 1 are about to be joined by new releases such as Tekken 8, Under Night 2, a host of indie games, a 3v3 Guilty Gear Strive mode, and even new titles like a Hunter x Hunter team fighting game.
But before we get into 2024, it's always a good idea to set goals and resolutions. And like last year,
I invited some friends to share their goals for the upcoming year. These are our 2024 fighting game resolutions.
My fighting game resolution for 2024 is to focus more on what brings me joy from fighting games and to share that with more people. I feel like with social media, especially things like Twitter, it's really easy to get caught up in a lot of the negativity. I'm both in the competitive and the content creation space of things, so I'm also personally inclined with my own biases as well. And you read negative thoughts about people complaining about balance, people expressing their salt a lot on Twitter, and that sort of sentiment gets a lot of attention. And controversy drives clicks, and divisiveness is always a powerful mover in these algorithms. And I think that can put a damper on people's moods and can distract from why we even play these games to begin with. And for that reason, I've already been doing my effort to try to steer clear of that a little bit. I'm very susceptible for sharing my own thoughts and engaging with things that make me angry. And I think that's a big flaw we all have as humans, in that the social media algorithms try to tap into that. So for me personally, for my own joy, and I think for the joy of other people as well, I just want to share what makes me enjoy fighting games more and more, and to try to shine a light on things that drive me to continue to play, continue to compete, whether that be the amazing storylines we have with the competitive scene and the competitive players, and highlighting the players themselves, amazing moments, what makes these moments so special, breaking them down for other people, and just things about fighting games that I really enjoy as well. Like, why is landing this combo so cool? What's so cool about this setup? The nitty gritty and the details of what makes a game cool and why I continue to play these games a decade later. I think that's something that I'm very passionate about, and I want to continue to share that with the world and hopefully spread more of a positive reception to fighting games and get people interested in games and have fun with them and inspire them to play and have fun with. It's not always sunshine and roses. There will always be controversial topics to discuss and hard questions to ask about the community and the games we play. That will exist, but for the most part, try to focus a bit more on why we can all continue to play these games so many years later.
Hey everyone, Baberuthless here, and thank you Esteban so much for having me. And in terms of what I want next year for fighters, I would love for fighting games to create more ways to keep casual players invested in playing long term. And as someone who doesn't really play a lot of online, I know there are a lot of casuals out there who are in the same boat. And among casuals, I see that going online is just heavily stereotyped as a place you go only if you wanted to have a bad time. And I think that there just needs to be more for players to do than just playing each other online through ranked or casual. Like for instance, maybe if Mortal Kombat had something more in the vein of like the Battle Hub, then I think that would go a really long way in fostering a better online community in MK1, instead of just like waiting 30 minutes for a match in King of the Hill and then getting your butt handed to you and then having that process repeat. The online features and modes in Mortal Kombat also just kind of come off as a little bit boring, especially in comparison to Street Fighter. So Street Fighter 6 has World Tour mode, and that is a really great start, but where it could learn more from Mortal Kombat is if it kept people more involved by giving out different rewards for characters more frequently. For example, Mortal Kombat gives out like different gear and colors and costumes pretty often, whether it's through invasions mode or leveling up your character mastery or just if you have a lot of money. And I know that Street Fighter 6 doesn't have the same insane budget as Mortal Kombat to make the same amount or have them come out at the same rate as their competitor, but maybe they could do this for your World Tour avatar instead. When Street Fighter 6 was first released, I remember people just being really excited for creating their avatar, from some people just taking it like super seriously, and to others just making these really like goofy abominations. And that excitement has just inevitably die down since most people have already beaten World Tour mode. And your avatar right now can really only be used in like a single player mode and also fighting in the battle hub in different avatar battles. But why don't we just open the floodgates and have either a dedicated slot or a button prompt for purists so that you can actually have your avatar be playable in local verses. I mean, just think about how like Soul Calibur has done this, which I feel like did strike a really positive chord with casual players. And doing this for Street Fighter can just have people excited again to make their avatars look cool or silly and just give players another reason to actually care about them. Just my own personal idea, since I feel like this would be the most budget-friendly way for Street Fighter to add cosmetics really quickly and also cheaply, since they really only seem to do this frequently for your avatar.
Howdy everybody, hopefully your holidays have been lovely. You've been enjoying your life and hanging out with family, friends, whoever, yourself, just vibing, enjoying the lovely holiday time of the year. Let's talk about resolutions and what we all want to do for the next year, what I want out of fighting games, because last year was super dope for fighting games. As I'm sure many of you know, right, there's a lot of really cool releases. Street Fighter was obviously a big one. NetherRealms dropped their game, which is always a big one. There's a lot of exciting stuff that's happening going on, but a lot of games came out, not just the big ones, right? And a lot of continuous updates for games that we've been playing for many years now, games like Guilty Gear or KOF or whatever, right? Things that are happening, and it's really exciting for the whole community. But this year is starting off with a bang. We have Tekken and Uni dropping right next to each other in the very beginning of January. And then obviously there's the Project L and other things looming in the future that we don't know about just yet, which is always exciting. But what I'd like to see more of, besides awesome new game releases and being excited about that, supporting each other, right? Because even if I'm not going to be playing Tekken every day, I'm excited for those Tekken players, is being supportive when people win. And that sounds a little weird, right? You're like, what? People are always excited when people win. But have you ever noticed that like a tournament ends and you don't even know the results yet, but you just open social media or you just hear people saying, ugh, isn't DJ the dumbest character ever? Like, DJ is so stupid.
I'm like, what do you say fuck me for?
And then you're like, what happened? Like, it's something new. Is there new tech with DJ? And it just turns out a DJ player won a tournament. Or you see someone tweeting about how stupid Luke is, or Ken is, or whatever the character is, right? And I notice more and more this happens all the time. People, instead of lifting up champions and being like, wow, this player played really well. I love the things they did here. I love the things they did there. All you see is, X character is so stupid because they won. You don't even see the player's name mentioned or recognized for winning the tournament until you look deeper and deeper and deeper and you finally see the results for stuff. And what ends up happening is, someone gets mad because Happy Chaos won. And then the next time when Ram wins or Nago or even some other character who's not very strong, instead of recognizing like, wow, it's very cool that this, this person won this tournament and they did really well with the character that's a little weaker. That's, they just played really well. They're a strong player. I always knew this character was cheap. I've been telling my friends since, Guilty Gear, Third Strike, plus our, Ultra Fighter that Potemkin is the best character in the game. No, just give some credit to the people who deserve it and they've been playing really well. And give some credit to yourself and your friends you're playing with instead of being a little grumpy pants when you lose. That's my hope that I see more of in the new year. Just give credit to everybody, because the true answer is that everybody, especially at the best level, they're good at this stuff, right? They're good at fighting games. So you got to give them some credit for their performance and try to be a little bit more cheerful about it rather than just tearing people down. Because then when you have success, so the character you like has success, you don't want to see everybody tearing them down either, right? You want everybody to be, building a more positive reception to these things instead of just being like, boo, the single loud boo in the internet. You don't want to be that guy.
For me, I like to make my resolutions a bit personal.
2023 was a pretty interesting year for me, where I strived to find the balance between fighting games, my personal life, my desire to create videos for this very channel, and my new job as a video producer for Evo.
And as I continue to strive to find that balance, I realize I'm not on the ground floor as much as I'd like to be.
A big part of this passion of mine requires me to stay up to date on the fighting game community, and that doesn't mean scrolling through the brain rot that is FGC social media, but by going to events and talking with people, getting to know the new and upcoming players or artists that share the same passion for fighting games that I think a lot of us have.
So for me, my 2024 resolution is quite simple. I want to go to as many fighting game events as I can.
And not just the combo breakers or CEOs of the scene, but try my best to get back to the locals and other regional events that I just haven't been able to attend much of lately. Not just to make videos or to play, but to listen and learn and do my best to stay current so I can better tell the stories of the past, present, and future of fighting games in whatever medium I choose. And catching up on my large backlog of projects for this channel would be nice too, but let's pace ourselves. I got a lot going on.
So those are our 2024 fighting game resolutions. What about you? Do you have any goals or resolutions for this year? Let me know in the comments.
And as always, thanks to our patrons for their support and to you for watching this video. Speaking of events, I had a chance to check out a big Dance Dance Revolution tournament to see the similarities between rhythm and fighting game events, and you may be surprised by just how similar they can be. Check it out.
And it has a challenge that fighting games or Smash tournaments or any other sort of game doesn't have, is that we can't scale up setups. If you're hosting a fighting game weekly and suddenly 30 more people are going to show up than you expect, you bring a couple more PS5s, you bring a couple more TVs, you're good. We have 2 machines. 2.